I've spent more time cruising the seas on the Jackdaw than booting around in the dirt as Edward. Directly compared to the original Black Flag, there's more depth and little hidden tricks to the ship battles than previously existed. So here are some vital tips for mastering naval combat in Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. First, knowing when to use your wide or narrowed variant of your basic cannon shots. Holding the aim reticule tightens the pattern and lessens the spread of the barrage. When holding your aim like that though, you can just quickly tap and hold the aim again to force the reticule to reset to the wide shot, striking at that location in a wider shotgun-like pattern. Further distances from the target, the focused tighter shot will be more accurate if timed correctly, while using the wide shot in mid to close range can strike multiple areas of the ship, or even hit wide enough to damage 2 battlements at once when assaulting enemy forts. Another important thing is knowing exactly when to brace to defend. One of the ways to know if you're about to get sprinkled with iron is if a ship's cannons light up orange like this, indicating they're about to launch a volley at you. This gives you some pre-awareness of when their shots are heading your way. However, sometimes it's hard to see this when a lot of smoke is coming off of your own cannon, so there's another indicator that's always visible to the right of the enemy ship's health bar. This diamond will flash a few seconds before they fire at you, so use that to help time your brace. Defending against incoming mortar strikes is a bit harder to time, since you can't always see that orange damage indicator in the water that's near you, but there is another cue when you see these little flames dripping from above your ship. That means a mortar strike is raining down about to hit you. A few hours through the main story quest, keep an eye for when your map updates at Salt Key Bank with this quest, a proper shipwright. Don't put this off, do it as soon as it opens, because this unlocks Lucy as an officer. She teaches you the ability to perfect brace, meaning if you time a brace just a second or two before you get hit, it'll dramatically reduce the damage that your ship takes. How? I don't know. This skill can entirely make or break your survival in tougher battles, or when you're outnumbered. To know if you've timed a perfect brace right, a shield will flash on your health gauge, and you'll also hear this metallic clank of the defense. Any of your cannon shots that have a dashed aiming reticule like the heated shot, that reticule can be moved around while they're firing to adjust where they fly. Use that to make fine-tuned adjustments to your aim throughout the barrage, or just coat different areas of the ship with damage. You can also fire a longer barrage like heated shot and immediately brace to defend, which will continue to send out the volley, dealing damage while you're safely Tortugaed up against damage. Turtled. The swivel cannon can be aimed and fired at the same time as well, so start the heated shot barrage and immediately trigger those exposed nodes that it opens up with the swivel cannon. Your left and right cannons share different cooldown timers, so if the situation calls for it, you can fire one, rotate the camera quickly to the other side, and fire the other, spewing out both cannons at the same time simultaneously. Not too many times will this be useful, but sometimes you can wedge yourself in between 2 ships to surprise ambush both with cannon fire. Now here's a little tip for turning your ship just a bit faster. It is a chunky boat though, so it's always going to be kinda slow to turn. But at a medium raised sail, just hold left or right for about 1 second to start momentum, quickly lower the sails down 1 notch to whip the boat around, and then once you're halfway through that turn, trigger back up to medium sails. That's a 180 turnaround. One more time, medium sails, hold left to right, tap the lower sail input to slow down, then halfway through the spin, tap the raised sail input to move faster out of it. Another important thing I suggest you seek out as soon as it pops up, I believe it's the same time as that previous Lucy quest actually, is the officer quest, A Second Chance, here on the east side of the map. Completing that gets the Jackdaw a Master at Arms officer, unlocking the Ram Dash. Triggering that focuses you forward to deal high collision damage. This also gets you a nice damage spike combo if you aim the ram dash at the front or back side of the enemy ship, coming at a 45-degree angle, so when you collide, it also quickly whips your ship around to its side where you can immediately follow up straight into them with a heavy shot, which is done by tapping fire without aiming. This is a strong 1-2 fiery boat punch synergy. When you board a ship and take it over, if the Jackdaw has a partially empty health segment, but you pick any option other than the quick repair, that health segment will actually regenerate over time up to its next notch. So in some situations, this can save you a need to repair to get some extra loot instead from the ship while gaining back some of your ship's health. If you want to try to take on ships and forts that have a skull icon, which means you're underpowered compared to them, I suggest trying to leave around smaller ships that are in their disabled boarding state so you can use them for a quick boat repair when needed. Kind of like a mid-battle health potion, tactically leaving and consuming ships will allow you to defeat things that the game might be telling you can't. All of this video is with the difficulty set to hard, so success against skull-iconed enemies is often possible if fought well. Every time you trigger the boarding mechanic, make sure you use your swivel cannons to detonate all the explosive barrels on the other ship before you swing over. Less of your crew members will be lost if you finish those battles quickly. Also, don't forget about your smoke bombs. These are extra useful during the boarding assault since the enemies are so tightly grouped together, letting you get back-to-back chain takedowns on multiple enemies with just a button press. Another important upgrade that I want you to have as soon as possible, pan your map over to the west to this fort and go take it over. Once you've captured this fort, you'll unlock the double shot, which is an alternate firing mode for your front cannons. This fires 2 forward barrages that hit really hard in the early to mid game and gives you a solid option for taking on ships from the rear as you stay out of reach in the blind spot to their side cannons. With a preemptive aim shot of your mortar, then spiked with a double shot, that's a powerful ambush combo that rips a big chunk of health off of them. Something to know about your mortar is that it takes 5 seconds from when fired to when it starts landing. Regardless if you shoot it far away or super close, it's 5 seconds, so don't overthink the physics when placing these in front of the target. Adjust always just 5 seconds ahead. The barrels that you launch out of the butt of the Jackdaw will do extra damage if you shoot them with the swivel cannon, instead of just relying on a ship colliding with them. Use this to set up traps out in front of a boat, then start detonating the water around them with the swivel cannon when they get close. Enemies that like to dump out these barrels themselves, if you're quick with the swivel cannon, you can actually use the explosion of their own barrel against them. And my final tip is something else I covered in my 25 tips for Black Flag Resynced video, so go check that out after, but you can actually board ships by yourself before engaging them. Just jump Edward out, swim over, and climb aboard. If you eliminate everyone on deck by yourself, you'll get a pop-up to scuttle the ship, which nets you its materials and automatically will destroy it. Since you just used your Edward for the assault and not your actual ship, this method of pirating enemy vessels will not increase your wanted level. Okay, in conclusion, those are just some of my personal tips and tricks that I've been using throughout my playthrough of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. I'm not going to show any of the legendary ship fights in this, but man, those are brutal on hard, and you're going to need all of those mechanics at your disposal and have a fully upgraded Jackdaw to even survive. So save up that gold and make sure you use those treasure maps you find to get those buried treasures, and do all of the diving bell locations once you have that, because those are 2 of the ways you'll unlock the ultimate plans for ship upgrades, getting you each to their maxed out highest tier. Alright, now let me know what you think of the naval combat in Resynced and how it compares to the original. And if it's all brand new to you, very interested if you've played anything quite like how its ship combat plays. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, I'm Alex, and hope to spot you in the next one, or over in my other Resynced tips video that's live on the channel right now. Check it out. See ya. See ya. Sorry.